I'm Raj Kumar, President and Editor-in-Chief of Devex. We are delighted to be with you today during UNGA Week here in New York. And this is the UHC Pavilion. You can see some of the activity happening in the background. This is the place where global health practitioners and leaders have been gathering all day long talking about universal health coverage. And I have one of those leaders. I was able to steal a few minutes from Susannah Schaefer, who's the President and CEO of Train, based right here in New York.
Correct.
And thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you for having me. And us. The whole team is here, so it's great to be here with you.
It's an exciting moment for organizations like yours that work a lot on UHC, because yesterday the UHC declaration came out. There is now an official pronouncement that this is something we're all working toward.
Yeah.
That's a big moment, a big milestone.
It is a big moment.
And we recently, Devex and Train, worked together on a report called Results That Last, which is all about this challenge of we have all this investment into global health, but how do we make sure it's actually sustainable? So I thought maybe you could take a minute to talk about that issue, that challenge, and how you see it at Train.
Sure. Well, sustainability is at our core. Our model to treat cleft lip and palate around the world is built on a sustainable model. And we use that premise of teach a man to fish. Mm-hmm. We use a train the trainer model to train local medical professionals so that they can treat cleft patients in their own communities.
And let's take a moment to talk about cleft, because maybe not everybody's familiar with the scale of the challenge. How many people are affected by cleft lip and cleft palate? How big is the issue?
Great question, because it's very much unknown. Just commonplace about the occurrence of cleft.
Yeah.
So it affects 1 in 700 births worldwide.
Okay.
So you take that in, and that's about 200,000 cleft births per year. Those are the WHO figures.
Okay. And is there a sense of how many of those 200,000 are actually getting the needed surgery to address the
Well, I think this is where our sustainable model and Train comes in, because we are operating on about 120,000 children per year.
Wow. So more than half of the burden.
More than half of the burden is correct. There is still backlog, so there is still backlog in certain countries around the world. And then you have to take in consideration the annual birth rate of clefts.
Yeah, this issue of sustainability, I hear about it all the time, because we've got a more and more complex global health funding infrastructure, and there's money for exciting pilots, and there's money for new innovative kinds of interventions, but then often, even when the return on investment is shown and there's real progress, there isn't anybody to hand it off to. So how have you tried to address that in the way you work at Train?
Well, I think that speaks to our model of having this sustainable model, which is working 24/7 in country. The medical professionals that we empower and that we've trained are there to take care of the children. So that system is working. It's working 24/7. And then you can come up with exciting new opportunities and pilot projects and things to look at to try and find a more efficient way or a better way. And that really fits to how we look at our work, how we want to treat cleft, and how we work with medical professionals around the world to do just that.
What are some of your biggest challenges as you try to get from that 120,000 to reach the rest of the kids who are not reached today? What's stopping you from getting there? What are you facing? What kind of obstacles are you facing?
I think the number one important thing in our work is listening to our partners, our medical partners on the ground. We have our dedicated Train staff in many of the countries that we work in, so they're there to work with our partners and to be able to garner what are those challenges. And still, 20 years in, Raj, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year of Train. 20 years in, still the number one challenge for providing quality cleft care around the world is awareness, believe it or not. It's awareness behind the lack of understanding of cleft still in these many outlying areas around the world. So educating communities on what cleft is and that there is a solution through a Train partner and access to surgical care.
Yeah, global surgery is one of these themes within UHC that often gets a little bit underrepresented, I find. And I know that organizations who work on global surgery feel that that's an obstacle that they're facing. When you're here at UHC Pavilion, you've got so many professionals working on these issues from all over. What would your message be to the kind of broader global health community about the work you do at Smile Train?
Well, access to care is number one. We want to be at the forefront. We're sharing our message. We're here. We're with you. Thank you for this opportunity to share our work and our story. It all helps to raise awareness for cleft care, for surgical care, because surgery is essentially that cure for a child with untreated cleft in the developing world. But what's so important to us is that it has to be safe and quality care. So these are all our core principles that are behind our underlying reach. And so with UHC, surgery has to have a voice in this. And we're going to be there. Smile Train is going to be there to get it out.
Well, we're excited to get this report out there, results that last. We'll link to it with this video, and it's really a compilation of interviews we've conducted with organizations like yours, IRC, and several others that are working on this issue of how do you make health interventions actually sustainable in the long run. And I think the global health community will gain a lot from this report, so excited to be doing it with you and to get it out there to the world.
Thank you, and we have great partners that were involved in it.
And what a great year for you to celebrate a 20th anniversary when there's a UHC declaration finally. So congratulations on everything you're doing and on that milestone.